Welcome back to Network Africa. Now, there's really an expensive prank going on in Kenya. Students have been setting their schools on fire, hoping to force them to extend their holiday period. Well, at least 100 schools have been affected so far this year. An education official says some students are planning to burn their school and that the administration has decided to send students home for their safety. Parents have also begun picking up their kids from schools in the fear that schools might be torched. And in South Africa, President Jacob Zuma has held back on approving a controversial bill which will give the government the power to expropriate privately owned land to address racial injustices dating back to the apartheid era. Mr. Zuma had received petitions against the expropriation bill and had asked Parliament to clarify how it had been passed before he decides whether to sign it into law. The main opposition Democratic Alliance has objected to the bill, saying it will damage the economy and cause job losses. Now, the Legal Resource Center Rights Group has also opposed the bill, warning that it denies property owners the right to be heard during the expropriation process and could be a breach of the Constitution. Well, bringing things back here in Nigeria, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank has voted to increase the monetary policy rate up from 12% to 14%. The committee also voted to retain cash reserve ratio at 22.5% and left the asymmetric corridor around 200 basis points and some 500 basis points. Liquidity ratio was also maintained at 30%.
MPC also, on another hand, considered the high inflationary trend, which has culminated into negative real interest rates in the economy, noting that this was discouraging to savings. Members also noted that the negative real interest rates did not support the recent flexible foreign exchange market, as foreign investors' attitude had remained lukewarm, showing unwillingness in bringing in new capital in under the circumstance. Members further noted that there existed a substantial amount of international capital in negative yielding investments globally, and Nigeria stood a chance of attracting such investments with sound macroeconomic policies put in place. Consequently, members were of the view that an upward adjustment in interest rates would strongly signal not only the bank's commitment to price stability, a major mandate of the central bank, but also its desire to gradually achieve positive real interest rates. Such a decision, it was argued, gives impetus to improving the liquidity of the foreign exchange market and the urgent need to deepen the market to ensure self-sustainability. The MPC voted, 1, to increase NPR by 200 basis points from 12% to 14%. 2, retain the CRR at 22.5%. 3, retain liquidity ratio at 30%. And 4, retain the asymmetric window at plus 200 basis points and minus 500 basis points around the NPR.
Well, the CEO of Economic Associates, Dr. Ayo Teriba, joins me now on telephone to talk more about the MPC's latest decisions. Thank you, Dr. Teriba, for your time. Now, did it come to you as a surprise that the MPC raised the key interest rate from 12% to 14%?
It does come to me as a big surprise that the Monetary Policy Committee could dare to raise the monetary policy rate when the economy is widely feared to be on the brink of a recession. When the economy is in a recession, you would expect the central bank to ease monetary policy to support recovery, not hike. Not tighten monetary policy as they have done, which might further worsen the recession.
Well, what do you make of the decision of the MPC to raise this interest rate with a view to stimulating growth despite the high inflation rate at 16.5%?
Well, the FCC acknowledged that the high inflation rate did not result from excess demand. It's the result of cost shock, about which the central bank has no time. There is no very good investment at their disposal with which they can fight a cost shock. So the cost shock does not create persistence with inflation. Because the high inflation rate will die out, and therefore there was no need to high policy to fight the inflation. But the real concern in the economy is that the central bank could ease liquidity to provide support for recovery. But now they are tightening it. And I don't see how that is not going to resolve the recession.
Oh, talking about increasing liquidity now, one of the things the Apex Bank says it's doing is it's focusing on increasing flow of capital in order to increase liquidity in the market and, of course, meet the forex supply needs. Now, do you think these measures will give us the desired results in the short to medium term?
That's very powerful. That's like changing shadows. The interest rate that the central bank has power over is not relevant to investors at all. The monetary policy is an overnight rate. Nobody is going to take investment decisions based on overnight rate. So they have power over is a mere liquidity rate. That's not. We need longer term interest rate for investors. And the fact that they had the monetary policy rate does not mean the hike is going to be transmitted. Those rates are relevant to investors. So I don't see what they're going to achieve by the hike. I only see the damage that they're going to cause to the economy by this hike, which shows that the monetary policy committee might be disconnected from the reality of the Nigerian economy. Although I note the fact that the decision to hike was a 5-3 vote. There are 3 members of the monetary policy committee who are more sensitive to the reality of the economy, and this time it is not heightened. 5 members who got the majority. It was almost a split vote. I do think going forward, the monetary committee needs to show more sensitivity to the reality of the economy.
Now,
that's my view.
What effect is this likely to have on the economy?
It's likely to worsen the depression. But if you sit down carefully and evaluate how Nigeria got into the depression, the tight monetary policy stance of the central bank that is maintained in the past 5 years, like be a contributory factor. You have 32% of the deposits in the Nigerian bank that tax the ground. There are 22.5. Have a monetary policy rate of 30%. Those were tight enough. Those might have contributed to the occurrence of the recession. I would have expected that at this meeting they would ease those to give recovery a chance. But if I think for that, it's very shocking. It's going to help the economy know that.
Well, the CBN says inflation is more structural than monetary. Now, how can government address this with the implementation of the 2016 budget?
Once you acknowledge that inflation is structural and specifically that is driven by cost shock, you admitted that there is nothing you can do about it. So that would have been best left alone. And it's not going to succeed if it's structural. It's going to die of fall by itself. Because you don't get to increase some prices of petroleum products every day. You don't increase the electricity tariff every day. And the valuation doesn't happen every day. So they are seeing the impact of those 3 developments in May and June. But even more, that impact will go out. So you should have concentrated on what military policy can support at this time, which is recovery. To try and provide liquidity in support of recovery. That's the financial policy for that.
All right, thank you.
I'm not sure there is much relevance from the budget to the inflation rate. Because much of the boost expected for the economy from the budget is not coming because of the revenue has not been, has not been as good as projected in the budget.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Ayo Teriba, for your time on Network Africa. When Network Africa returns in a moment, Congolese star Kofi Olomide arrested in Kinshasa. Do stay with us.